Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another edition of Dark Powerrr, where we cover everything that happens on AEW Elevation, AEW Dark, and of course NWA Powerrr. We've got some things to get to today. This was a promo-heavy Powerrr, to say the least. So remember, guys, hit that like button, comment, share, subscribe if you have not already. Now, speaking of promos, we're going to start off with a promo. Elevation itself started with a Eddie Kingston promo that has generated some controversy, shall we say. It was after the Saturday Night Dynamite, and there were some shots taken at WWE during the promo. I personally don't really have that big of an issue with the promo. I know some people definitely have, but Eddie wasn't really saying anything that was untrue to me, or in my opinion. And I think that, if anything, he's just showing a level of passion for AEW and for the business and how he thinks the business should be done. And there's nothing wrong with that. Not really. I mean, everybody has their own opinions on what is right, what is good, what should be done, what shouldn't be done. Jim Cornette has his, Vince Russo has his, Dave Meltzer has his. We all pick and choose what we like and what we listen to. I mean, you guys are here because you like how I view things, right? Or how we view things here on the True Heels. So I don't take anything negative, or I don't put anything negative towards what he said. If anything, I think that it is a way to highlight the importance of differences, because there is definitely a vocal crowd that likes the way that AEW does things. And WWE has, for a long time, not catered towards that audience, towards that crowd. And that's part of the reason why AEW is able to do the things that it does. So, hey, I thought it was a good way to start Elevation just because of what it means, what it symbolizes, that promo symbolizes for what Elevation is supposed to be, for what Dark is supposed to be, and for what Rampage will be. So, kudos to Eddie Kingston for saying that, and kudos to AEW for deciding to put it at the top of Elevation. Now, I really liked the Brian Cage-Serpentico match. This one was a really good match because I didn't expect it to go as long as it did. I thought that they gave Serpentico a really good chance to shine, gave him a lot of time, and what I thought was very interesting is Serpentico's a heel, Brian Cage is allegedly a heel. Is this really the start of, no, not the start of, but more fuel to the fire of the face turn for Brian Cage? But good match. Really, really good match between the two of them. Speaking of good matches, let's talk about Riho versus Kylie King. That one was a really good one, too. Riho is, I think she's moved here permanently now, and that's a good thing for the AEW Women's Division. And Kylie King is somebody who has been on the rise and has been developing in front of our eyes. And to see her get this opportunity against Riho, really good. They worked very well in the ring. The size difference is always going to be important, because not only is Kylie King, generally speaking, tall for a woman, Riho is also short for a woman. So when you put the two of them in there, you gotta play up on that fact. And smart that Kylie King chose to do that. So good on her, and good match too. Like that one. Next thing that stood out to me was Blade versus Chuck Taylor. Just in the same vein that Serpentico got a long amount of time, or a good amount of time, when it came to Brian Cage Serpentico, we don't usually see Blade have matches. So seeing him have a match, really good. Usually he's, more of a behind-the-scenes Hardy Family Office lackey, but here he got a chance to shine a little bit against Chuck Taylor, and a good match here. And continuing just the usage of the bunny as a heater, as a good way of cheating, very well done. Especially seeing as what we will see on Tuesday night. And finally, the main event stuck out to me, but, the main event should stick out to anybody. It's Eddie Kingston and Pentagon versus TH2. This is a really good match, especially in the beginning. I liked the beginning, I think, probably the most, where Jack Evans is showboating and doing different breakdancing moves, and Eddie Kingston is just not impressed whatsoever, and is just looking for a way to cut Jack Evans down in size. Now, we know that we are getting a tag title eliminator, that's the technical term, tag title eliminator match on Wednesday Night Dynamite, now that Dynamite is back to its regular time. So keeping Eddie and Penta looking strong. TH2, I've said it before, they are a tag team that deserves better. Hopefully, the next time a face team takes the titles, TH2 will be near the top of the line to try to take them from them. I hope that they get a tag title run sooner rather than later. Turning towards Dark. Now, Dark had some kind of cool moments here. Dark has a nice match here with Lee Johnson and Barry Morales. Two guys who are on the rise when it comes to AEW, particularly Lee Johnson. And we haven't also, just the same way we haven't seen a lot of Blade, we haven't seen that much Lee Johnson recently. It's particularly because, which is important because we haven't seen him really weigh in on or be a factor in the Factory versus the Nightmare Family feud. And that's somebody who really should be involved heavily in that as somebody who is a Nightmare Family product, but also because he was one of the guys that they turned on when they made the turn. I liked the Ty Conti match. That one was a good one. Ty seems more and more sure of herself as a face, knowing when to play to the crowd. It's all development. And yes, maybe there was a reason why she was not as used as she was in NXT, and maybe there is a reason why that they cut her. But she has taken this opportunity with AEW and run with it, and that was incredibly important to see. So she's developing very well, and I think that she has a very good chance of being another face contender for Britt. I think that they go with, obviously Nyla Rose right now. I think they're heating up Chris Statlander to be the next one. And I gotta say, I think it's Ty. I think it's Ty after that. We'll see what happens, especially if by then Anna Jay's coming back. We'll see how all of that shakes out. We have a Jora Joel moment during a Hardy Family Office win where Matt is continuing to try to get Jora Joel to sign with the Hardy Family Office. Will he, won't he? This is the kind of content that Elevation, that Dark needs, self-contained storylines. We were talking about this last week. We're going to continue to talk about it. They need to keep working on this, and I like to see it, so keep that up. Another thing that has basically been a self-contained storyline on Dark and Elevation is the Joey Janela Sonny Kiss issues. And those continue. We see that continue now when we see Janela having a promo and just being like, oh, well, I'm not in a good mood. I'm not in a good place. And then Blade, again, 2 matches, back-to-back matches. He's now up against Sonny Kiss, and when he defeats Sonny Kiss, there is some shenanigans that happens after the match. Of course, now we see the best friends running out because they're having problems with Blade and with the Hardy Family Office. Then Janela runs out kind of late to the party to try to save Kiss, but Kiss kind of rejects Joey Janela, and we're starting to see more and more of the storyline develop. I'm looking forward to seeing how they build this out, because that's going to be very important, because we need these kinds of feuds. We need these sort of, not mid-card, but like just feuds for story feuds. Not even mid-card, story feuds. That's what we really want to see. That's what we kind of need to have when it comes to Elevation and Dark. And that brings us, guys, to NWA Powerrr. Now, this week on Powerrr, there are a whole lot of promos. So let's get straight into it. Let's start off with the fact that we have breaking news. There's going to be a points-based tournament called the Champions Series. That's going to debut July 13th. We are going to see Nick participate in one of these championship series, as well as Camille, to help determine who will be the next contenders. Without too much more information, it kind of sounds like the G1, where the champions are involved in the tournament. I want to see how exactly they're going to do it. Is it going to be kind of the round robin style, or how will all this shake out? We'll get more information as we get closer to July 13th, but they insinuated there would be legends involved, so we'll see what constitutes a legend under the 2021 version of the NWA. Our first match, or our first of 2 matches, which is kind of incredible when you think Powerrr's an hour-long show, is Genocide versus Lady Frost. This was a pretty good match. Not too bad at all. They had some good moments. Taryn Terrell kind of worked pretty well. I gotta admit, kind of worked pretty well as a manager, as just somebody who's there to get under the skin of Lady Frost. The crowd was a little weird because they were booing Lady Frost when it's kind of obvious you need to be booing Genocide, but they realized what they were supposed to be doing, and they course-corrected very, very quickly. But the match itself was really good. Lady Frost is also somebody who has been developing, not developing in the sense of she has what it takes. It's more developing in the sense of us getting to know her. I guess that's the better way to put it. And looking forward to seeing more of her. I will say that the Jenna 9000 looks weak as shit. I don't know if it's... So it's basically a pile driver, but... a tombstone, but... Jenna just... I don't know, maybe she did it improperly this one time. She just kind of fell to her knees and didn't... It was not... Obviously, I guess you're not really trying to jump anymore. And maybe I'm just used to seeing takers, or I have takers pictured in my mind. But this just was a little too of a... obvious, just drop to your knees, protect the head kind of moment. And I don't know, maybe she just hit it improperly this time. So I'll give her the benefit of the doubt. Yeah. Last week, or on what was it? It's not Power Surge or whatever the hell that show was. They had Saul Renaro win a match, so he is now the #1 contender for the TV title, and it's supposed to be him versus Pope. He has a really good promo here, ringside with Danny Dimes and... Not Danny Dimes, that's Daniel Jones. Danny Deals and May Valentine, where he's very passionate. And honestly, you can feel the passion from Saul Renaro, where he's basically saying, all I need to do is be better than Pope for 3 seconds. It's true. It's very true. That's all you gotta do to beat somebody in a wrestling ring. Be better than them for 3 seconds. And Saul's like, a lot of people count me out, but I can do this. I can be better than him for 3 seconds. But before he's going to have the opportunity to prove that, who shows up at Colby Corino? They've been brewing some things between Colby Corino and Saul Renaro. There was some stuff last week, and now he gets attacked by Saul Renaro, by Colby, and really, really beaten up. And they tell us that the match we were supposed to get, which was Saul Renaro versus Pope, has been canceled. And we're having Aaron Stevens kind of put some stuff together on the fly. This just goes again to restate what I've been saying, I think, last week and the week before. Who is making the matches? Why is it the talent? It should be Billy Corgan. If something's wrong with the show, and we're not going to get the title match that we're supposed to get, then Billy Corgan should be the one organizing a replacement match, not Aaron Stevens. Either way, they're trying to figure out what's going to happen, and we have Tyrus and Idol coming out, and they're doing their baiting thing again to Pope. Pope answers this time and says, if you want to do it, we can do it right now. And he gets into the ring, ready to fight, and Tyrus is coming out, ready to go, but Anthony Idol's like, no, guy. We do this on our time. Which is smart. It's a classic heel move, and very well done in that sense, because, yeah, you make the champion wait. You reinforce that you are better than them in so many different ways, and one of the ways is that I decide when you get your opportunity, not you. Very important kind of way for a heel to get under the skin of the face, so I like that they went with it, because for a second there I thought we were going to get Pope and Tyrus with really no build, not no build, but like no advance warning as a replacement for Saul Renaro versus Pope, which... why would you give that away? So smart that they didn't give it away. So now we get I guess technically this is, Aaron Stevens with Mims and some guy named Captain Yuma, who I don't think I've ever seen before. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys, in the comments. I don't think I've seen this guy before on Powerrr, but I could very well be wrong. Versus Kratos and Hawk's father and son, Luke and PJ. So these are our tag champions on opposing sides. It's supposed to be an exhibition match, no heat between anybody. Alright. The match starts, it's going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, whatever. Match is alright, nothing too crazy there. But then La Rebellion show up, and they kind of interrupt with a promo, and they end up attacking Captain Yuma, causing the disqualification, causing the match to get thrown out, and we don't really get anything happening. So really, what they did was they sacrificed Saul Renaro so that the Rebellion could attack a tag title match, or a match with the tag champions in it, to potentially further the tag titles on the line with Stevens and Kratos versus La Rebellion. But really, La Rebellion was having a larger problem with the end earlier. So there seems to be some kind of crossed wires, mix up in communication, but hopefully we'll see what happens with that. I don't know, it just didn't seem like this was a great way to make anybody look that great. But hey, I want to see what happens with this Captain Yuma dude. That part was hilarious. Here we have an awkward moment between Crimson and Jack Stane. So Crimson is explaining his actions as to why he was so vicious towards Slice Boogie last week. Jack Stane is like, okay, but you didn't really need to do it like that. And Crimson is saying, but he, meaning Slice Boogie, is an asshole, so he deserved it. And Jack is like, well, I mean, maybe, but did he really? And Crimson is saying, yeah, what the hell is wrong with you? And then Jack says there's something that we need to talk about, and Crimson says, okay, what do we need to talk about? And Jack Stane, on Powerrr, where all of us are watching, says, why don't we save it for Powerrr and talk about it in front of the whole world? You're already on Powerrr, and you're already talking about it in front of the whole world. There is zero difference between talking about it with My Valentine backstage or at the interview desk. The only people who aren't going to see this are the 20 people in the actual GPV studios. What the is wrong with Jack Stane? Been hit in the head too many times. Made no sense. Next, we have a JTG Chris Adonis promo where they're going back and forth ahead of their national title match. This was a pretty good back and forth. Basically, the gist of it is that Adonis is saying, "There's nobody. You don't have anybody watching your back. I've got Tom Latimer," who apparently is completely over the fact that Adonis cheated him out of his potential national TV championship shot. Makes no sense, but hey, whatever. Adonis vacating the title didn't make any sense, so we'll let this one slide too. But he's telling JTG, you don't have anybody backing you. Fred Rosser shows up. Yes, JTG does have somebody who has his back, and it's Fred Rosser. That's the gist of the promo, and I'm looking forward to seeing that match. That is actually a match that has some really good opportunities to steal a show, to be one of the best matches on NWA Powerrr in a long time. So looking forward to that one. I'm not sure when exactly they're going to be doing that. I think they said next week, but then again, we have title matches that just change all the time here on Powerrr, so who knows what's going to happen when it comes to Powerrr. Speaking of not knowing things, we have Heart to Heart, where My Valentine is interviewing the Masked Man, who I am even now more convinced is Robert Ego Anthony, and Ego basically, or the Masked Man, says the same thing that he's been saying every single time he's on the mic. William Patrick Corgan knows who I am, William Patrick Corgan signed me, and I'm here to be a pro wrestler. That's it. So that's all we're going to talk about until this develops anywhere further. Finally, we have Thunder Rosa talking just before the main event where she says Melina is really cool and everything. She appreciates Melina having her back. But in this fight that Melina has with Kylie Rae, she's not taking sides. Okay. Now we have the actual match, which is a really good match. I like this match a lot. This was pretty well done considering Melina's limitations in 2021. She can't move as fast as she used to. She can't hit as hard as she used to. She doesn't have the same reaction times. And so you need somebody like Kylie Rae, who is much younger and much more athletic still in the ring, to be able to help carry and move, help position Melina where the match needs to go. That's not to take anything necessarily away from Melina, who is still pretty well, her intelligence game is still there, and knowing how to work a crowd, knowing how to work the match, knowing where the spots should be, and being able to be in the spots are two completely different things. So Melina still has the tools, it's just whether or not she has the tools. So here, Kylie Rae is able to pick up the win. It's a strong win for Kylie Rae. You kind of expect that Kylie should pick up the win, but at the same time, Melina is the one who is kind of having main event level storylines. So you would kind of also expect that Melina should pick up the win. This was a match that I thought could go either way. It's interesting because usually on Powerrr, I can kind of see where every single match is going to go, but this one, I could have seen it go either way. But a part of me was what swayed me also to Kylie was that this is really Kylie's first singles match. You're not going to have her lose it. So it was just a very interesting concoction of who could potentially win this match. But overall, a good match. Overall, not a bad episode of NWA Powerrr. Here we have fewer logic gaps or logic problems than we normally do on Powerrr. So good, well done. Pretty good episode of Dark, pretty good episode of Elevation. So guys, until next time, I'll catch you later. Take care of yourselves, take care of each other. Remember to hit that like button, comment, share, subscribe if you haven't already. And yeah, looking forward to seeing that Champion Series and seeing what that's all about. Take it easy, guys.